Hey there, health coach. I'm here today to talk about a big mistake I see many new health coaches making. And the mistake is this. New health coaches get too focused on the solution to the client's problem, and they miss the bigger picture of what the actual problem is, which can lead to frustration and poor outcomes. So if you're a coach who jumps right into the solution and wants to fix the problem right away, then this video is for you. I'm going to share some examples, and I'm going to give you a detailed 5-step coaching process to help you avoid this common coaching mistake so that you can have effective and productive coaching sessions. So before we get into those details, I hope that we can agree that a big part of our work as coaches is helping our clients work through their health and wellness challenges, their struggles, and their problems. Typically, that's why someone hires a health coach, right? Because they have a challenge or a problem that they need support with. So if we agree on that, I'm sure we can also agree that it is crucial to an effective and successful coaching relationship that we fully comprehend and understand what the problem is so that we can help our clients come up with effective solutions, right? So awesome. I hope we can agree to all of that. So there's a great quote by Albert Einstein that I think really captures the main point that I want to make here today. He said, "If I were given 1 hour to save the planet, I would spend 59 minutes defining the problem and 1 minute resolving it." So the majority of the time would be spent on exploring what the problem is and just 1 minute on solving it. But what I see happening with new health coaches is actually the reverse. They spend maybe 1 minute or even no minutes on the problem and most of their time on the solution, on that action plan. But without fully understanding the problem, how do you know you have the right solution or even solving the right problem? So let's take a look at some examples so that you have a better sense of what I'm actually talking about here. So what I see happening is clients come to the health coach saying things like, I need to meditate, I need to exercise, I want to drink more water, eat more veggies, get better sleep, be more organized, reduce overwhelm, etc., 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 right? Those are typical complaints and things that we hear from our clients. And what I see happening is the coach responds by saying, okay, let's figure out how you're going to do that, right? And they dive into the action plan on how the client is actually going to implement this solution. Because this is what we're most comfortable with. This is sort of the easy part of coaching, right? Figuring out what the client is going to do. But we don't really know yet what the actual problem is. What we do know is that the problem is not lack of meditation, lack of exercise, lack of sleep, lack of veggies. These are all possible action steps or tactics, but what problem are they actually solving? So we haven't really explored that yet with the client. Are you with me? So what the client is presenting is a solution. They are not presenting a problem. So as coaches, we do need to back up first and help our clients explore the problem before we jump into a solution. Because if we aren't tackling the right problem, the client could waste their time, their resources, their energy. They'll likely end up frustrated that they aren't making progress and not seeing results. And of course, you're gonna likely be frustrated too, feeling like you're not a good coach and not doing a good job. So I'd love to shift now into how we can tackle this type of coaching scenario. So as I mentioned, I've got a 5-step coaching process with 5 powerful questions to help your client explore the right problem so that you can help them come up with the right solution. So what I'm gonna do is I'll go through it in detail first using an example, and then I'll summarize the 5 questions again after we go through the example. So in this example, I'm going to use the example of a client wanting to meditate. So you can start this exploration by reflecting back to your client. So I hear that you're wanting to start meditating. Then we can ask question number 1, which is, tell me more about the problem or the challenge you're experiencing that you feel meditating would help with. So perhaps the client says, well, I'm dealing with a lot of stress and pressure at work, so I thought if I meditated, that might help. So the next step is to reflect back. what you just heard the client saying. So I hear that you're experiencing a lot of work stress. So then you can ask question number 2. Tell me how this is impacting you. What are you noticing as a result of this work stress? And then the client might come back with something like, well, worrying about work keeps me awake at night, so I don't get good sleep. Then I'm tired during the day, I feel foggy-headed, I have low energy, I make bad food choices, and I feel exhausted all the time. So then you're gonna reflect back what you heard. So I'm hearing that this work stress is really creating a lot of impacts and health issues and challenges for you, including You can just repeat back what you've heard. Then you want to move into question number 3. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to be able to reduce this work stress and alleviate some of the impacts that it's having on your life? Chances are your client's going to come back with a pretty high score, right? So then you want to reflect back on how important this is to the client. And then you want to look ahead to help your client see what's possible if they were able to reduce their work stress. So then you ask question number 4. What would it feel like for you if you didn't have this work stress in your life? How would your day-to-day life be different? So the client might say something like, I'd sleep better, I'd be clear and focused during the day, I'd make better decisions, I'd have more energy to go to the gym, I'd be more positive with my colleagues and with my family. So of course then you reflect back all of those positive benefits and those improvements, and then you move on to asking question number 5. So what is the first thing that you can do, or the first step that you can take to start reducing this work stress? And maybe the client says that they do want to start meditating, and that initial idea that they came with is what they stick with. But also with this new perspective about the impacts of this work stress, they may also come up with an idea that perhaps, it would be more helpful to go talk to their boss and maybe have a conversation about the work stress to address, where their stress is actually coming from versus just adding in a Band-Aid solution. So what I really want to hone in on here is that the client's problem is not a lack of meditating, right? That's what they said they needed more of. But really, it's a work stress problem. And so if you as the coach just jumped into action with a plan around meditating, then you wouldn't have been helping the client solve the right problem. So I hope that makes sense. And what I want to do now is just recap the 5 powerful questions that you can use in this type of exploration. Number 1, tell me more about the problem or challenge that you are experiencing. Number 2, tell me how this is impacting you. What are you noticing as a result of this problem? 3, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to work on this now? Number 4, what would it feel like for you if you didn't have this problem in your life? How would your day-to-day life be different? And then finally, the final question, number 5, what is the first step you want to take in addressing this problem? So I hope that all makes sense. I hope these questions and this framework has been helpful for you. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have in the comments. See you next time. Bye for now.